Okay, so let's move on to the next scene.
All right, so let me jump back to. All right, so she falls down the stairs, and here we go.
Oh, oh,
Okay, it wasn't until I watched this clip this time that I remembered that Esther is a cook and not a maid. And the fact that she's ironing and burning herself isn't just carelessness, it's that she's really not trained to do this particular job. So it makes the burning of her hand on this iron worse. So the question for me becomes how, again, you're encouraging me to say, how do you want the audience to feel about this? Or how do I feel about this? I'm not sure how far to take this. Like how bad do I want people to feel? It's a little early yet. She's going to burn herself more later.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Um, that's a really good question, and it's also hard because if watching without music too, it's like, oh my god, and it's slow. It's almost felt like God, they could have made this half as long. Um, and I'm not sure they should have, but I mean, when I first watched, like, oh my god, and there's no dialogue and there's nothing. So now it is the music. Not a lot happens, and the music's got to kind of move things forward. And so I use the word move very carefully because it needs to move because it feels a little slow for me watching it without music. So I need it to move, but the story points are really there. And the point is, she's doing her job. She it's maybe not quite the job music as before because she's like kind of in the swing of things, but she's also keeps burning herself, and it's painful, and it's a problem, and yet at the very end she's proud of herself. Look what I've done, So that to me is like, so overall, this is not an unhappy moment. This is like a satisfied moment.
Okay.
And period wise, I kind of started it up already on her while falling down the stairs. I thought a little waltz kind of vibe just to keep things, moving and playing. So
Well, okay,
gonna,
so I like this that you've decided that this first time around, the burning is just going to be like, that's what I had to do to be proud of myself. That's good. Okay.
well, and the burning kind of also delineates kind of the scene. It's like it she burns herself, and then it kind of whether it cuts or not. And I'm even trying to remember, but it delineates. Oh, but no, I keep going. Even though I'm burning myself and hurting myself, I'm not stopping because I'm a professional. I'm going to do my job.
Yeah.
And so it keeps it moving. So I'm going
Okay,
to go
let's
back
see
a
what you got.
tiny bit to bring it in because it does. So I will start at when she walks away because I kind of start the waltz with the fall. It's around 6:51:04.
I'll hear no more of it.
Don't I have a say in my own future?
No, you have shown a complete lack.
And interesting enough, the last note ends at the beginning of the next scene and plays through just in slow diminuendos to tie us in. It was still going, you know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I want to say why I really love this idea that you used a waltz there. That is just great. Because I was pretty baffled by this scene too. The nice thing about a waltz is that it implies partnership. It implies two people moving. And you basically set it up that you emphasize the fact that she is actually in a scene with this iron. The iron is the other character. She's in a relationship. They're dancing, and it's not a nice kind of dance. But then when she's done, she's dancing with the dress. And so you're still in a waltz, but the quality of the waltz has changed. So the waltz is perfect for this.
That's interesting. I mean, I never thought of the waltz like that. I just thought of movement, kind of period. And I like the feel, something about the feel of it that and maybe that's why that she's in a dance, but it's in a dance with herself. Like, this is what I'm going to do. And by the way, she keeps there are these little moments with like, oh, it's hot, I'm going to burn myself. And when she does burn herself, there's actually a moment where it kind of pauses, the waltz kind of gets stuck, and you start to hear some of the sounds from the work music where it's like the serious stuff where she's like, a little bit of that. But no, I'm going to go back. I'm happy. And it resolves. And in a weird way, I almost think that's the end of part one of the movie.
Okay.
I almost think like this, and in a way, that's what it felt like. It's like, oh, it's over, because now comes the second part of the story. In a weird way. So, anyway, it was one of the hardest scenes to score because I felt so naked, to be honest. I mean, there was nothing there, nothing to help me, and it required it. And it spent some time on it, trying to get it to work, and the nuances of like, not obviously going ouch, but like, oh, trying to go, ooh, this doesn't feel good. Oh, but it keeps going, and she's not giving up. She's not going to give up. She's not done yet. You know, we know what's coming, but not right now.
Yeah, well, I think your solution's great.
Okay, thanks. So, I mean, we can also I actually didn't score any of this next scene, so I don't know if it's worth spending time playing it or not.
Of course. Who did score it?
Okay. What?
Who scored it?
Nobody scored it. I left it empty. By the way, silence is as much a choice as not silence. So yeah. I felt after almost wall-to-wall music and knowing what's coming, I just thought this is a moment between the mother and the daughter. It doesn't hurt to just at nighttime, and it's intimate, and it's a very harsh moment. Why not let that score? Why not let that play quiet to give us a break? And also, listen, silence to me creates intimacy. You put music on something and it's hard to create it's different. So after everything, it's just intimate. So I was a choice. We can leave it, or I can just
let's play it. Actually, before you play it, I want to say I think this is the exact same scene where I had the exact same thought. I was thinking, of course, when I teach my students how to perform music or write music, I tell them that silence is the nuclear bomb of music. It's immensely powerful, and you have to be very careful when you use it, because it basically makes people feel naked. It takes the trance away. But if it's used well, it's just the best thing to use. And there was a scene that I wanted to be silent with no music. I think this is it. Let's find out.
I'll hear no more of it.
Don't I have a say in my own future?
No. You have shown a complete lack of judgment.
He'll stay. He can go work for his father. William loves me, Mama.
And I realized you would never be a beauty. I thought, that's all right. You'll be brilliant like your father. But in that regard, too, you have failed irreparably. What is it?
I'm so sorry, but my shoe, it needs repair.
And?
Oh, forgive me, madam. I am no cobbler.
Nor am I.
Oh, of course not. But they are my only pair, and it has been a fortnight, so if you could pay me now, I could have them fixed.
You're in luck. Giles can mend your soul.
I see.
Is that all?
Yes, madam.
That is the scene that I was going to leave empty. And for the same reasons as you, It's good to give the audience a rest if possible. And also because it's nighttime and it's intimate and you don't want to wake anyone up. It feels like this is the place. And there's so much going on in that scene that moves the story forward too. It's, I guess in a way, you know, if you had to leave something out, if somebody said you must leave one scene out, this scene carries itself very well.
Yeah. Well, and the intimacy, the closeness, and the anger that's going on, it was there, and I didn't feel like it needed the coloring. In a way, it becomes its kind of a pointed moment when she finally tells her mom, "Hey, I'm falling in love with the boy, the son of the person you hate," you know, and
Yeah.
she laughs at her and scolds her for it.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I guess we're seeing a transformation to some extent, or a deepening of each character here. So this is where Esther realizes she's really into it because she's not even going to get paid. This is where the daughter realizes mom is doing this again. This is not okay. I'm actually starting to realize this is not okay. And there's even a moment, you know, where Madam reveals herself to us and expresses, you know, genuine emotion, even though it's maybe not justified, genuine emotion of disappointment, heartbreak, you know, at how her daughter's turned out. So each character turns the wheel a little bit.
That's great. That's great. Well, let's. I want to play. Father, I was just thinking ahead a little bit. I want to play from there, and I want you to think about a couple of things, because this is their. I want you to think about where should the music come in. Got to know the right thing. What do you do about the fact that she's singing, and also the importance of the bed scene? What do you think about the bed scene?
Okay.
So let me go back a little bit. 9066.
And it has been a fortnight, so if you could pay me now, I could have them fixed.
You're in luck. Giles can mend your soul.
I see.
Is that all?
Yes, madam. Lang skal du leve, lang skal du leve, lang skal du leve mot de 100 år. Happy birthday! Oh. And today is also Santa Lucia Day, when all the most beautiful girls wear candles in their hair to bring us light and warmth when it's cold and dark.
Shall we light them?
Yeah. Beautiful.
What on earth are you doing?
It's Santa Lucia Day, Mother.
Lucicat?
I can't think of a more foolish way to incinerate your greatest asset. Out of bed. We have much to do.
Okay, you've challenged me to decide when the music will begin. And I'm glad you did. It made me think a little more. I think probably I would start the music when the bell rings. Once the bell has rung in that scene that we saw the end of,
Right.
That's when the die is cast. The bell ringing sort of solidifies all the changes that we had been building up to in that scene. And at that point, the daughter and Esther become allies.
And what is the bell indicating at that moment? Like, what is it literally? What is she saying?
The bell is indicating that's when it dawns on the daughter, really, what's going on.
No, I mean,
how bad.
What is the bell itself? Forget what it does. Like, you're getting to literally, what is the bell?
Oh, the bell is to summon. Isn't the bell to summon the butler to fix the shoe?
Oh, I thought it was telling her, you're done. I'm done. Leave.
Oh, I see.
Right? She's kind of saying, we're done.
Right.
It also means, yes, they've got the ringing bell. Come. And she's like, I'm done. She doesn't even say, okay, listen, can we talk about it tomorrow? She's like, boom.
Right. Yeah, she uses that bell as her power. Absolutely.
It's
the bell
power. It is.
Her expression of power.
Like, I think everything you said was right, and it's like, oh, the daughter this, and it's a bell, it's a bell, and it's realizing we as an audience realize, boy, this woman. But literally, it is like a moment of dismissal, and it is really dismissive on top of it.
Yeah. And
Okay, I love that. I'm game for that. And so, okay, next, what do you do with the how do you handle the singing?
oh, I think probably, well, I think probably before that scene with the daughter's sort of stricken look, I would probably put a violin or something, some kind of pathetic, impulse music, something to clue us in that the daughter is feeling something, like to wake us up. And that could either, be paused while she sings, or it could be going over or under. You could pull the singing back so that you can hear her singing, but it doesn't interfere with the music that I wrote. Or you could do the opposite, where her singing could be over the violin playing. And then that takes us into the joyful scene, the one where, she's she's actually making the daughter feel good for maybe the first time in her life. And they have that moment before it's taken away by Madam.
Okay, so that's okay, great, because I've used this in some teaching places, and I actually think this is the pivotal moment of the movie. Although I don't think you're wrong to say that at the end when the daughter comes down. But there's something pivotal about there's a moment that's very important that I spent a little bit of time getting to. So she sings the song, she walks over to the bed, and something happens at that moment. Something that I thought was really interesting and meant something to me, which is the daughter touches the bed. What is she telling her?
Sit down.
Telling, come up here, come onto my bed. And you even see Esther going, that's so unexpected. And so what is that? What is the daughter giving as a person in power, giving to the servant?
She's lifting her up.
She's lifting her up. She's giving her honor. She's giving her, like, she's seeing her as an equal, as a person. She's giving respect. She's showing respect to her by saying, come here onto my bed. And then, of course, here's let's do Santa Lucia Day. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember it. And she gets to do that with the daughter. It's a pretty amazing moment. So to me, that's a very intimate, special moment. So then the question back to you is, and this is a good question, what is the feeling? What does she feel? What does Esther feel? What do we feel? What should we feel? I mean, we could feel a lot of things. So what is Esther feeling? And therefore, let's put that as the score to make other people feel. And then how do you create that feeling?
I think the feeling is tenderness. Esther apparently is unwed. She's an old maid, as it were. And this is her chance to have a mother-daughter relationship with the daughter.
Yeah, or she's feeling, I mean, literally even more, I think that's great. I didn't even think of that. I also just think it's that she just feels like respected.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets to now bond with this woman in the way she's wanted this whole time to bond with everybody. Look, I'm a great woman. I want to bond. I'm interested in bonding with all of you just because I work with you. I'll do my job, but I want to bond with you. Well, now she finally gets the chance, only to be interrupted by.
Right.
And by the way, I actually thought this is a comical moment. There's something funny about the way she moves and the way she talks, and I actually did Mickey Mouse it a little bit on purpose.
Okay. And
what happens then? Let's just go right to the very end. She gets interrupted. You get interrupted from this intimate, wonderful moment, and she says, "Okay, come on, this is ridiculous. You're gonna burn your ass at your best thing about you," which is such an insult to the daughter that her hair is the best thing about her.
Yeah.
And what does Esther go and do? We stopped it, but Esther goes back to.
Right. The food.
She goes back to work. She has to get the house ready for the party, right? So
right.
Goes back. We'll probably stop at that, but all right. So I'm gonna pick the score up.
And it has been a fortnight, so if you could pay me now, I could have them fixed.
You're in luck. Giles can mend your soul.
I see.
Is that all?
Yes, madam. Lang skal du leve, lang skal du leve, lang skal du leve ut i 100 år. Happy birthday! Oh, Day is also Santa Lucia Day, when all the most beautiful girls wear candles in their hair to bring us light and warmth when it's cold and dark.
Shall we light them?
Yeah. Beautiful.
What on earth are you doing?
It's Santa Lucia Day, Mother.
Lucicat?
I can't think of a more foolish way to incinerate your greatest asset.
Yeah. Okay, before you talk, I want to give you some props here. You started the music right when I said I would start it, which is great. You used the ringing of the bell. You used the tone of the bell, the same note to continue. So the bell ringing continues through the music, the same, which is great.
I thought I had two, but wasn't I up a third?
Well, from what I could hear, it sounded like there's at least you're in the same key as the bell.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the bell actually, not only does it signal, but it cues the music musically, not just dramatically, but cues the music musically. And then, you carried it over. The scene, the music you chose for that scene is very tender. It was wonderful. Didn't get in the way of the singing at all. It was kind of a nice, I'm not sure whether the bell and the song are in the same key. That would be a nice coincidence if it
No,
were.
I did a little modulation and just kind of supported it because at first I tried accompanying it.
Yeah.
And really creating an accompaniment, but then it was too goofy.
Right.
So holding the strings and just having it kind of morph under it so that it supports the sound of her singing.
Yes. And then you moved right into that beautiful scene, which you did heighten very nicely. I was moved. It was really great. And then, yes, I did notice the Mickey Mousing when you put down the tray and bump right there. That's good.
And there's the poking music, a little bit. You can hear it probably a little better when you listen to it. You'll hear there's a little bit of that poking. And the other thing is just as a saying, like having worked on other projects where people sing, they don't always stay in key. They don't always stay in rhythm. To Jen, because she's also a great musician, stayed perfectly in key, stayed in rhythm, made it really easy for me. But I've been at times going literally where they drop beats. I've had to match it where it's the groove and there is no groove, and they shift keys, and then I have to try to make it sound like it was all intentional, and it's a nightmare. So
and that ends up taking about 95% of your scoring time. Did that
one? And then they go, well, that doesn't work great. And I'm like, I can't do it any better than that. Trust me. It's like if it had been important, we should have had a click track, a beat for you and some notes on they could have sung to.
Right.
It's like, because
with some Foley,
Yeah, I did a Nickelodeon movie a while ago and with a great actor, a very funny guy, but boy, he couldn't keep a beat and he couldn't keep a pitch, and yet somehow I got to work, but it was a lot of finagling. There were some 5/4 measures in a groove bar. So, anyway, great. So you can check out the music, because while I wrote that, I want you to think about it. While I wrote that, I thought, I love this feeling. There's this kind of intimacy. I feel like this is going to work for me in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a special magical moment, and there's something beautiful about it, and so anyway, so then back to work. So here we go. She goes back to work. Get your stuff together. It's about 10:32.
I can't think of a more foolish way to incinerate your greatest asset. Out of bed. We have much to do.
Ah, Madam Phelps, Master William.
Oh. Yes,
The
Madam.
blouse. Are the guests arriving?
Yes.
Good. Make them wait. Iron that again.
Again? Yes, Madam.
Esther? Take these to Mildred and tell her to wear them without complaint. She's spoiling for a melodrama.
I can't believe her. She's being so gauche.
Oh, but they do look lovely with your hair.
She's exhausting.
Okay, so for me, that bit you played is in two parts. One is the party preparation, which again is shot very musically with lots of beats and lots of this and that. And so, I think if I learned my lesson from you, I would try to make it music that is rhythmical and fits there, but doesn't match it exactly. Especially except maybe for the curtains. I don't know if I'd be able to resist going bum, bum, ba-da-dum. I'd have to do that for that. But everything else, just some kind of, music with a good beat, something, that clips along. And then the scene changes when Esther goes, ouch. When she feels that breaks the trance for Esther. She's not preparing anymore. She's, again, in pain. And that takes us right to the Madam and Esther scene.
Before you go on, so what is Esther feeling at that moment? She goes, ouch.
Well, she's bandaged at this point. So she's not only burned, but blistered. So she's really starting to suffer.
Right. Oh, well, so if you were suffering in a position you're not happy with, what would your feeling be?
I'm starting to get tired of this.
Or angry. Yeah, exactly. So, and before she was burning herself when she was working in the waltz, and it was like, okay, ow, ooh, ow, okay, but I made this beautiful blouse. And now it's like, oh, and it's building up to the fact that she's getting more and more angry internally.
And she's about to be asked to iron again on her blistered hand.
Right. And so in a way, while yes, it's another scene, it also kind of continues right into this, where this angry, it's just the next level. Where do you start the music?
Where do I start? Which music?
The coming out of the beautiful music. She's been interrupted. Where do you start the music? And I'm not saying there's any right place. I'm going back to 10:28:18.
Yeah, I think I'd probably would start the music. I don't think I'd break the music at all. I would just change it.
Where does it change? Sorry, where does the change back to work?
Oh, back to work from after I'm getting tired of this?
Yeah.
I mean, I think probably, when she leaves the room, that would be a transition back to the work.
I'm sorry. I'm talking. Okay, I'm talking about when they're sitting on the bed together, and all of a sudden the madam comes in and says, "Come on, this isn't okay. This beautiful ceremony thing is not okay." Remember, we just had that beauty. She's saying the song, and they end up on the bed together, and they're talking, and it's that really intimate moment that's special. They get interrupted, and she's basically saying, so when do we transition? When's the moment we transition back to? I'm being a leading question. Pay attention to where I chose.
Sure. For me, I think I would probably continue what I was doing until those curtains opened up.
Okay. So I'll go back. I'm going to go back a little bit to do the transition and then into the work. And I pay attention to, just for fun, how I started the work music.
And where are we starting?
10:28:18.
It's Ana Lucite, Mother.
Lucicat?
I can't think of a more foolish way to incinerate your greatest asset. Out of bed. We have much to do.
Madam Phelps, Master William.
Yes,
The blouse. Are the guests arriving?
yes.
Good. Make them wait. Iron that again.
Again? Yes, madam.
Esther? Take these to Mildred and tell her to wear them without complaint. She's spoiling for a melodrama.
I can't believe her. She's being so gauche.
Oh, but they do look lovely with your hair.
She's exhausting. She only wants to hear.
Okay. First, I gotta again give you a compliment. Your music, you picked the perfect tempo. You found the filmmaker's tempo because your music, without telegraphing every beat in there, matched matched it perfectly. I mean, there were moments in the music that tempo-wise fit everybody's gestures. It was like they were dancing to your music, but it wasn't obvious. It wasn't an obvious thing. So that was really cool to see. You transitioned at the same spot I mentioned I would transition with the burn. And I heard the seething anger beginning in the low strings.
Yeah. Well, when you'll listen to it back when you can hear it properly through your headphones. When the burn happened, there's this kind of interesting. I forgot some kind of. It's actually a synthetic sound, if I remember correctly, or it's a bowl hit. It's like a metal bowl hitting, and I had this weird reverb effect on that I didn't mean to have on, and it created this weird kind of echo that almost reverberated. Fed back on itself too much, but it just stopped before it got too much, and I was like, oh my god, I love that, and I just kept it in instead of turning it up. It was like a happy accident. It was this kind of, and it helped transition over. And
Yeah.
it wasn't intended, except that the music, anyway. It kind of happened while I was working on it. I was like, oh my god, and I made that kind of work. And I appreciate the thing about the tempo. I actually think you'll find anyone finds writing this stuff, you start to just develop a vibe, a rhythm, and if it's edited well, and it's just you start to feel the pacing, and you go, oh, the number of times I've scored something and then realized, oh my god, I'm matching their walking tempo. It's because in a way they've created my beat for me, because that's the feel, it's that move, and
Yeah.
and so I didn't sit there and try to adjust it. I just kind of, I came back. I don't know if you heard, but I came back to the original music.
Yeah.
Back to work. Started on the blow out the candle, because in a way it's like, oh, lights out. It's like the fantasy's over, back to work.
Yes.
I just felt like that. It was a little bit Mickey Mousey, but I kind of liked that. I just felt like, it just gave it that energy of like, okay, boom, lights over. And then there's some of the music hints back to the dining room scene. And then the angry music underneath the madam when she's ordering her around with the blouse. Yeah. That's some of the same angry music that's happening with the buildup of with the blouses, piling all the blouses up when she's telling the story. It's getting angrier and angrier. This kind of low bass stuff. It's kind of there. It's kind of been there. And we heard it a little bit even in the dining room scene. So it's, I've kind of just started going, oh, I've used this already. It's just perfect. I'll use that again and orchestrate it differently, or make it more aggressive, and that kind of thing. So anyway, there you go.
Well, we're coming up on the turning point now, Esther's turning point.